Does it feel like your lodge is struggling? Do you feel lost? Maybe you don't know what to do? Well, this week on Squarely on the Level, we talk about some simple, easy things you and your lodge can do for the future. Welcome back to the channel. This is Squarely on the Level. My name is Darren Kellerman, working in association with the Grand Lodge of Kansas. This week, we're going to talk about a few things that you can do for yourself, for your lodge, to help guide the way, if you will. Every week I say, hey, if you got any questions or concerns, leave them down in the comments, shoot me an email. Well, that's been happening, and that's what this week's episode is going to address. Had a couple people email me, one call me, basically saying, Darren, I'm not sure what to do. My lodge seems to be kind of a little lost for direction, or I'm master and I don't know what to do. Well, don't worry. I can tell you I was a master several times, and only at the end of those terms did I feel like I was really fully capable of doing the job. We just don't do a very good job preparing Masons to be the master of a lodge. We kind of just let them progress through the warden's chairs, and then when they get their obligations, boop, here you go, what are we doing? It's kind of rough. Attending the Leadership Academy, I would highly recommend. And that's as deacons and wardens. I'm talking about 3, 4, 5 years before a person becomes a master. We need to get you in that mindset to help start planning. For you masters right now this year, I'm talking to you if you're a master out there right now, you need to get together with your wardens and the guys who are coming after them, going to be officers, to work on a plan for the future so they're not lost like you might be. I felt horrible. I was a lost puppy, and the only answer I would ever get is, well, Darren, you're the master. Whatever you do is going to be right. What do you think I should do? Whatever you want to do. You're the master. Horrible, because I was still a relatively new Mason, only been about 5 or 6 years in, and I'm already sitting in the master's chair. I belong to a small rural lodge of about 60, 70 members, and just, very frightening. And they put their entire faith in you, and then you just muddle through your year, and when you're done, and you just, maybe you feel great, but I sure didn't, and I wish I'd have had some of the tools that are available now. Several years at Leadership Academy, we got this book for free. This isn't just for masters, even though it's called the Master's Assistant, it's for anybody. There's a ton of information in here. This is an easy read. It didn't used to be, but one of our past Grand Masters, Mike Halloran, went through and reworked this book for McCoy's, and it is a wonderful read now. And it's not just like a book. It has all sorts of sections and things in there on different topics, lodge officer responsibilities. If you haven't picked this up, if your lodge doesn't have a copy, get it. Put it in the library. If you don't have a copy, I'd recommend getting one. There's a ton of information in here about all sorts of things that you can do in your lodge. And again, not just for masters. This is for all master Masons to look at. So, we've covered it before. If you haven't watched the channel before, here's in a nutshell. If you got any issue, there is one go-to spot, and that is the Grand Lodge of Kansas website. So we're going to go there right now, and that is www.kansasmason.org. Ton of information here. If you haven't been in the membership area, get in there, take a look around. Lots of stuff there. But I found something that was put on the website back when we first started. I'm talking 2010, 11, 12. And it's still there. And it's not in the membership area locked down. And it's okay. The things we're going to look at today here, there's nothing needs to be protected there. But normally we'd go over here to the membership area and look into some of those things. But today we're going to go to the Grand Lodge. And down at the very bottom is this one called Vision 2020. It was a great plan rolled out in 2010 at Annual Communication in Salina. Grandmaster Sullivan was in the Grand East that year. And one of our Grand Lodge officers, Rick Reichert, presented this. Expert in strategic planning, did a lot of research for it. And we had several sessions to put this together over the previous 2 or 3 years. And it was rolled out here in 2010. It was a 10-year strategic plan for the Grand Lodge of Kansas. And part of that is to share with local lodges how to make their own strategic plan. And for the Grand Lodge of Kansas, it was a plan for success for the future, establishing long-term and short-term goals and where we wanted to be. And we found out quickly after about 2 years, after about 1 year actually, that we need to readdress some of those things. And we continue to do that still to this day. We don't call it Vision 2020 necessarily anymore, but it is the Grand Lodge Strategic Plan. But if your lodge doesn't have one of these, you need to. And first thing off, when you're talking about this, do not call it, hey guys, let's come in and talk about a strategic plan. You won't get anybody to come. Just, that doesn't even sound exciting to talk about right now, and I'm the one talking about it. I call it planning for success, or call it, hey, let's make our lodge a trophy lodge, something. But strategic planning is probably not what you want to call it if you want to get people to attend. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff down here. As we scroll down here, it's my computer screen. You see a lot of great stuff. Here's a bunch of links about strategic planning that are out there on the web. Great reads, but it doesn't necessarily pertain to the Freemasonry aspect of it. And there's some stuff in there as well about the Masonic life cycle and things like that. But what I want to address you to is up here. Back in that this time it was last updated, you can see here, 2013, we were going around, we being the Grand Lodge officers, going around to different areas in the state and districts and putting on breakout sessions, inviting local lodges to come, and we would work through building a strategic plan for their individual lodge. This was absolutely not a Grand Lodge package for every lodge saying, here's what you should do. The Grand Lodge mission statement does not allow that. Success is determined by each individual lodge, however they determine that to be. So the Grand Lodge of Kansas, the entity, can't determine that for each lodge. Each individual lodge has to determine what is best for their lodge. The Grand Lodge's responsibility is to provide the toolbox for those lodges to do that. And this strategic planning was part of that. And we've left that here on the website unlocked so anybody can use it, because reality is, if our youth groups want to use it, if our ladies groups want to use it, anybody wants to use it, here it is for you. Now, I have an updated slide deck I'd be happy to share in presenting this. If you want me to come in and talk or just give it to you to help maybe encourage your lodge to do this, I'd be happy to send that to you. But here in a nutshell is the walkthrough here at the very top. And again, it's just amazing that it's still here. But the facilitator slide deck is what I would use. It's my script, actually, when I come to put on the strategic planning session for your lodge. And this takes 3 hours. That's about the ballpark figure. Sometimes it goes longer. It can go shorter if not a lot of lodges are there. Ideally, if you get a strategic planning session, we'd invite several local lodges, and you want to bring 4 or 5 officers, as many members as you can get, but usually the 3-4 senior officers are about what you can get. And we sit down and we work through it. And it's a very eye-opening situation. But when we're done, you walk out with a strategic plan for your lodge. You can take it back and talk it over with the membership. You do have to reevaluate that as you go. But as opposed to kind of being just adrift at sea, you now have something on paper that you can work from. And it's right here on the Grand Lodge website. Most people don't know it. And again, it's been so long because so many other great programs at Grand Lodge have been coming out. This kind of got pushed away. And some of our lodges are just now coming to speed and realizing that we've got issues and we need to address them. And this is one way to do it. So strategic planning, planning for success. And some lodges, if they're going the other way, they feel they're going to close or consolidate, a strategic plan can help do that successfully too. Because a lot of people are under the misconception that closing a lodge or consolidating is a horrific thing. Actually, it's not if it's done correctly. And we can help sunset a lodge and do it in a wonderful way, and no hard feelings in there at all. And we do have presentations that we can put on to lodges to explain the different ways of consolidating or closing, or the different options when a lodge is not doing so well, the options that you have. And that is a reality for a lot of lodges in Kansas. And each year we have about 2 or 3 lodges consolidate with a neighboring lodge. And that's a reality of what's happening in Freemasonry in North America right now. So those are just a few things for you. I say again, but I don't know what I've said already, because sometimes I have several different edits of this and can't remember which one I've used. But if you're aspiring to be a leader of your lodge, and that doesn't mean be the master. There's a lot of guys on the sidelines that are leaders in the lodge. We need to sit down together. I'm talking with the master, secretary, treasurer, the wardens. We need to get a plan together. And for those guys aspiring to be the master, we need to sit down now. Because I don't want you to be the master and being lost like I was. I want you to have a game plan laid out way before you ever take that obligation. You should be ready to go in October for what's going to happen in January. And conveniently, in the fall, we have that Leadership Academy. It's already set this year for up in the Kansas City area. I'm drawing a blank on the hotel here as I covered. It seems like it's Overland Park Convention Center, I think. Don't quote me on that. There may be a graphic pop up here that'll correct me if it were. But Leadership Academy is awesome. Oh, speaking of Leadership Academy, I know we're coming on the time limit here today. Let me show you one more thing here. This is awesome. We are going into the membership area. Member area, click in there, enter your password. We talked about that in last week's episode. If you haven't, click back and you can learn how to log in there if you can't figure it out. We've got some good directions for how to do that. But membership area, references, manuals, forms, downloads. This is awesome. Just totally awesome for you masters and others who are having issues. We're going to scroll down here to educational stuff. And we're going to keep scrolling down here to Leadership Academy 2015, Leadership Academy 2016. There is a ton of stuff that is good information in here. Masonic mentoring, ritual memorization, preparing for the East. Oh, that's pretty good. And the other one, I think there's one about the Master, and the Master and his gavel. There's all sorts of topics in there. These are all stuff that were presented at the Leadership Academy 2015 and 2016, but you can use them as education for yourself or for your lodge. So all that free and easy right there on kansasmason.org. It's the Grand Lodge of Kansas website. It's the toolbox. You just have to pick it up, open it up, look in it, use what you want to use. And it's not a guarantee for success, but it'll help put you on that path. I'm Darren Kellerman. This has been Squarely on the Level. If you liked what you saw this week, you want to see more of this type of content, make sure you hit that like button, slide over, hit that subscribe, and then punch that notification button as well. You'll be automatically notified every time we upload new content. And until next time, keep it squarely on the level. So yeah, I was master of my lodge for 4 years. Year 1 and 2 were really, really rough. Year 3 was a little bit better, and 4 was probably where I should have been originally, and where I would hope most masters are when they take it. But I was, like a lot of smaller lodges, once you get your master's apron and your dues card, they try to put you in some officers' chairs. And if you're in a smaller lodge, that first officer's chair could be a warden's chair. And boom, 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 you're master right away. And unfortunately, in my lodge that I belonged to at the time, that was what was happening. And the 2 guys behind me dropped out. So the wardens coming up that I thought were going to relieve me as master didn't stick around. The biggest thing that helped me was I went to the Masters in Warden School, which has now evolved into the steroided up Leadership Academy. Holy smokes. The Masters in Warden School was great. And now we've taken a lot of the best parts of that, integrated into this Leadership Academy, and now it's just wow. And if I was a deacon or a warden, heck, even as a past master, I love going to Leadership Academy because I'm still learning stuff. That book we talked about today, got that for free at, where's that? Got this for free at a Leadership Academy, actually. Awesome. A couple years before that, I got some other books on leadership. But the biggest thing that helped me was I went to annual communication. And it was kind of scary because I'm a new Mason and I don't know what's going on. These are Grand Lodge people. People running around in tuxedos and suits and ladies in their fine dresses, and just overwhelming. But I ended up sitting next to people who were just like me. Past masters, just members. And we talked about what they were doing in their lodge. And I got a lot of great ideas from what they were doing. I took notes. I still have some of those notes, actually. And guys from lodges my size, bigger, smaller. But that's what's great about the annual communication and other Grand Lodge events is it brings together people from all over the state. And you end up finding out there's guys just like me out there had the same problems. And I get to hear how they addressed it. And a lot of great ideas that way. And is this a shameless plug for going to the annual communication? No, it's not. Because that's the reality of it. And I don't care where these Grand Lodge events are at. I'm going. I hear it all the time, people talking about it's too far away. You know what? I don't care if Grand Lodge, Kansas has to hold the communication in Colorado someday. I'm going to drive to go there because that's where I get to interact with brothers from all over the state. And there are guys like that everywhere in Kansas. And I hope that the people that watch this are like that. If they've never been to any communication, I hope they go to any communication. The business session, great. It's fine. That's what it's all about, I know. But really, where the Freemasonry happens is outside those tiled sessions. There's been more learning going on outside in the hallway before and after and during the meals at those tables, I think, than happens in that tiled section. No offense, Grandmasters or past Grandmasters. But that's the reality of it. So, anyway, I just want people to be a better master than I was. Flat out. I'll do whatever it takes to make that happen.